Kore Mwapinduka and welcome to Africa Good Morning, your daily window into the heartbeat of the continent. I am Glenora Shipura. On this edition, Kenyan President William Ruto apologizes to Tanzania following the outcry over detained East African activists. In South Africa, we'll be right back after this. We apologize for the technical difficulties experienced earlier. Getting into our top stories, Kenyan President William Ruto has publicly apologized to Tanzania following growing diplomatic tensions after the detention and deportation of East African activists, including Kenya's Boniface Mwangi and Uganda's Agatha Atuhaire. The activists were allegedly tortured in Tanzania after attending opposition leader Tundu Lissu's trial. Their treatment sparked regional outrage, with Kenya and Uganda protesting the lack of consular access. Speaking at a national prayer breakfast, Ruto said, "If we have wronged you in any way, forgive us." Tanzanian MPs accused Kenyans of cyberbullying President Samia Suluhu and meddling in domestic affairs, prompting online clashes. In response, MP Jessica Masumbatuvangu reported being flooded with WhatsApp messages, but welcomed the engagement, inviting Kenyan youth to continue discussions in a WhatsApp group. Ruto also addressed young Kenyans, Gen Zs, who have criticized his leadership since deadly anti-tax protests, offering them an apology. Tanzania has not commented on torture allegations, though President Samia previously warned against foreign interference. In our next story, a mother who sold her 6-year-old daughter is given life term in South Africa. A South African mother, Raquel Kelly Smith, has been sentenced to life in prison for kidnapping and trafficking her 6-year-old daughter, Jocelyn Smith, who vanished in February 2024. Smith's boyfriend, Jacqueline Apolles, and their friend, Stefano van Rijn, also received life sentences. Despite a massive public search, Jocelyn remains missing. The Western Cape High Court heard disturbing testimony during the 8-week trial, including claims that Jocelyn was sold to a traditional healer for ritual purposes. A friend-turned-state witness alleged Smith admitted to the sale, while a pastor said she once discussed selling her children for money. Judge Nathan Erasmus condemned the trio for showing no remorse, saying their actions fractured the Middle Pause community. Jocelyn's grandmother, Amanda Smith Daniels, expressed heartbreak, pleading for the return of her granddaughter. Authorities say the search for Jocelyn will continue. The convictions have been welcomed by the National Prosecuting Authority. US, China, India can all fit into Africa. Campaign pushes for fairer world map projections. Abimbola Ogundairo loads an African campaign challenging the Mercator map projection for distorting Africa's size and promoting colonial perceptions. The commonly used Mercator map enlarges Europe and shrinks Africa, misleading viewers about global scale. Advocates like Ogundairo call for equal area maps like the Equal Earth projection, which more accurately reflect the continent's true size. Developed in 2018, Equal Earth shows Greenland as 14 times smaller than Africa, aligning with reality despite past alternatives like the Peters and Robinson maps. None gained universal adoption due to various distortions. However, Equal Earth is gaining traction with institutions like NASA and the World Bank. Ogandiro believes Africans must lead the shift in narrative and representation. Her campaign, Correct the World, urges global and African institutions to adopt maps that reflect Africa's prominence, arguing the representation impacts perception, power, and decision making. Now, next story, giant of African literature Ngugi wa Thiong'o dies aged 87. Kenyan literary giant Ngugi wa Thiong'o has died 87. Over a six-decade career, he chronicled Kenya's journey from colonialism to independence, becoming one of Africa's most celebrated writers. Born in 1938, Ngugi's life was shaped by the Mau Mau uprising, including the killing of his deaf brother by British forces. His debut novel, Weep Not Child, in 1964 was the first major English novel by an East African launched with the help of Chinua Achebe. In 1977, he changed his name, rejected English for his native Kiyuku, and was jailed for his radical play I Will Marry When I Want. He wrote Devil on the Cross in prison on toilet paper. After an attempted assassination, he lived in exile for 22 years. A fierce advocate for African languages, he challenged the dominance of colonial tongues in literature. Ngugi held a prestigious U.S. professorship and fathered 9 children. Getting into our next story, Elon Musk resigns as dog chief amid backlash over job cuts, and Accord blocks Trump's global tariffs. Elon Musk is leaving the Trump administration after leading the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, which aimed to cut federal spending and jobs. Musk confirmed his exit in a post on X following criticism of Trump's budget bill. DOGE led to an estimated 260,000 federal job cuts, though some were reversed by court rulings. Meanwhile, a federal court ruled that Trump overstepped his authority by imposing global tariffs under emergency economic powers. The ruling blocks the Liberation Day tariffs and duties on China, Mexico, and Canada. The Trump administration has appealed the decision, leaving the outcome and impact on trade uncertain. That concludes our top stories. We'll now swing over to the weather predictions for Southern Africa before we get into the current affairs in Namibia. Getting into the current affairs in Namibia, on the 28th of May, Namibia held its first official Genocide Remembrance Day at Parliament Gardens in Windhoek, marking a solemn and historic moment for the nation. The event commemorated the 1904 to 1908 genocide against the Ovaherero and Nama people under German colonial rule. The remembrance follows years of nationwide consultations, culminating in the official designation of May 28th as a public holiday by President Nangolo Mbumba in 2024. Dignitaries in attendance included President Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, Vice President Lucia Wetboe, Prime Minister Elijah Ngurare, and traditional leaders, among others. The program featured a candlelight ceremony, interfaith prayers, and performances honoring the memory of the victims. In her keynote address, President Nandi-Ndaitwah emphasized national healing, justice, and unity. Let's take a look.
In the presence of our fourth president, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, who on that day, he signed that proclamation declaring 28th of May a Remembrance Day of Genocide and a public holiday. Thank you very much, Comrade President, our fourth president. We are therefore here for the first time as a nation to remind ourselves of the dark days of 1904-1908. Genocide Remembrance Day, which is a public holiday, should be a powerful reminder about our shared resolve to continue on the path of nation building, reconciliation, and healing of the wounds of the past. This day must always make us to recognize what our brave ancestors endure in defense of this land, the land of the brave, thus inspiring us to defend our country's independence and all our natural resources for the benefit of all Namibians today and in the future. Director of Ceremony.
Still with the land of the brave, land for evicted generational farm workers. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, Inge Dhamwani, announced the allocation of reallocation farm units to 9 beneficiaries from evicted generational farm workers who have been subsiding in road corridors. This was done earlier this week. Have a look.
At this special occasion, to witness the official handing over of allotment letters to 9 beneficiaries, the lucky beneficiaries. This is, of course, part of our national crucial land reform program. As we all know, land is crucial to ourselves as human beings. It is not merely a piece of land where we live on, but it forms the very substance of our dignity, our livelihoods, and our future. It is a basic need for every Namibian. Hence, the government, through the ministry, embarked upon land reform since independence, with a view to redress past injustices in line with Article 23, subsection 2 of the Namibian Constitution. The ministry, as the custodian of state land, is mandated to facilitate state-driven land reform, which will not only correct historical injustices, but also achieve genuine social and economic equity for all Namibians.
The Namibian Oncology Center, NOC, situated at 3 Helidio Street, Eros, hosted a stem cell donor registration drive in a partnership with the Cancer Association of Namibia and the International Matches on the Maps campaign. Robin Lewis, a cancer survivor and leader of the campaign, was on site explaining the quick and painless registration process. The drive aims to boost Namibia's critically low stem cell donor numbers and raise awareness about the importance of genetic matches for patients with blood cancers. Let's have a look.
Hey guys, my name is Robin Lewis, and together with my wife, we are on the world's first intercontinental stem cell donor recruitment drive. This is Betsy. She's taking us through 64 countries in 10 years, South Africa to Vietnam. In every country we get to, we try and motivate potential stem cell donors to get onto the database to become somebody's life-saving match for blood cancer patients somewhere in the world. So the process is super simple. You go through an exclusion criteria to make sure that you are eligible to sign up. We're looking for young and healthy people between the ages of 16 and 45. And it's super simple. As soon as you've done the exclusion form, go through an application form with general contact details, a questionnaire. As soon as you're done with that, you do 2 swabs in your own mouth. We put it together. We send it to the South African Bone Marrow Registry, who's also gone into partnership with the Cancer Association of Namibia, trying to find those matches in Namibia for Namibian people, right? Once that has been done, that swab goes through a test, and with the result, you get logged onto a database. If ever you are found to be somebody's life-saving match, right, then they're going to give you a shout, and they're going to say, you have an amazing opportunity to save somebody's life. Would you like to go ahead with the process? It's at this point in time where we try and motivate everybody that signs up. Please stay committed and say yes when you do get that phone call. Once you say yes, they're going to fly you out free of charge, pay all of your transport fees and everything you need. There's no costs involved to the donor. And in the olden days, they used to take bone marrow from the hip. Luckily, they don't do that anymore. The new process, or the standard process at least, is they take blood from the one arm, they put it through a stem cell filtration machine, they put the blood back into the other arm, they take those stem cells, it's extra stem cells, and they transplant that into the patient. Once that's done, you can go back home the next day, you go back to your normal lifestyle without any serious side effects. And the amazing thing is, after 3 years, you get to meet the patient if you wanted to. That's the whole process in a nutshell. We're not motivated financially, we're volunteers. And the reason we do what we do is, a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with blood cancer, also a rare genetic disease called Fanconi anemia. And to get through the process, unfortunately, I had to go for a stem cell transplant. I only had one match in the whole world, and without that person, I wouldn't be alive today. So that's why we do what we do, why we stay committed and motivated to get more people onto the database. Your race or your ethnic group plays a very big role. For instance, a white person has a 1 to 100,000 chance of finding a match, whereas any other race throughout the world starts at 1 to 400,000. That's a very scary number, and that's why we need diversity onto that database and why we are driving through all of these countries. That's the whole process in a nutshell, and I hope you guys will come through sometime, maybe tomorrow the 23rd, to sign up as a stem cell donor. And we hope that you will get connected with the Cancer Association in Namibia if we are gone out of the country, and you will be able to sign up. Thank you so much.
Tuli Naval Construction is under fire after workers allege severe labor law violations at their Rundu Airport project. According to Anthony Hanab, a laborer on site, the company has been paying workers just $12 million and 25 cents per hour, far below the legal minimum wage of $18 million for the construction sector. Speaking to Network Media Hub, Hanab claimed they have been building a fence without receiving basic protective equipment like boots, despite the risk of encountering snakes. He further alleged that at least 3 workers were dismissed after raising the issue with the Labor Ministry, which has failed to follow up with promised inspections. The situation escalated when the 2 workers, including Hanab and Abisai Shikalepo, were reportedly dismissed after speaking to NMH. And one of the dismissed men allegedly attempted suicide, prompting a police response on the site. Now, workers also raised concerns about a Botswana national overseeing the project, claiming he does not have a valid work permit and has been intimidating them. Tulinavo managing member Ndangi Mununguni denied the claims of PPE shortages, suggesting workers may have sold their gear. He stated that all employees signed contracts agreeing to a fixed monthly salary of $2,000, 600, and were asked to wait for a resolution. Let's take a look at the initial interview the two employees had with NMH.
Yeah, we are working at Tulinavo company here at the airport. Yeah, the Rundu Airport. We are having a problem with safety, actually. Some of us got safety, but we never got boots. We got uniforms. Some of us don't. And according to the rate per hour, we are getting $12.25 per hour, which is not what the Namibian thing, the implement since it started on this January 2025. It's supposed to be $18 something, but we are getting that. So the money is not enough. We are getting like $100 per day. Yeah. So, and here it's not. There is no safety, enough safety, since the snakes. There's a lot of things happening here. We took our complaints to the labor, to the anti-corruption. But since up to now, there's nothing, there's no changes, there's nothing. So we don't know to who should we go to take our complaints, which we will get the results from.
And did the Ministry of Labor ever come here? The
Ministry of Labor was never here. They always say they are coming, but they never came here. Still up to today, we started this thing. People, a lot of our co-workers were there, taking their complaints there, and they were just promised, we are coming. It's just the same song over and over and over. But still up to now, it's months now. There's nothing we have shown. There's no results, no nothing.
And some of the people also said you guys are also owed back pay.
Yeah, because since if we get the rate which laborers are getting paid, obviously we have to get our back pays from there. Yeah, we are working $100, like we are still in the old system. We are still getting $100. So with things which are so much expensive nowadays, we are not getting much, but the work is hard here and tough. So please, we need changes here.
Also, you guys over the call, you guys claimed that some workers here were dismissed because they reported this matter to the Ministry of Labor. Is that true?
Yeah.
And how many of those were dismissed?
Probably three to four, yeah.
Okay.
And that's all the time that we have for you. Do remember that you can catch Africa Good Morning every Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. on our DSTV channel 285, our GoTV channel 25, and on our website, oneupdo.com. From me, Glenora Shipura. Until next time.